The CMO survey has been collecting and disseminating the opinions of marketing leaders in order to predict the future of markets, track marketing excellence, and improve the value of marketing in organizations and society since 2008. This 29th edition examines how marketers are approaching strategies, spending, and organization in a post-COVID environment. Results show that some aspects of marketing have changed quite a bit over the last 3 years, while other aspects that were changed dramatically during COVID have returned to pre-COVID levels. Here are the top takeaways, which are based on a sample of 273 marketing leaders at for-profit U.S. companies, 95.6% of whom are VP level or higher. Optimism for the U.S. economy hit 57.2 out of 100, up from 50.9 at the height of the pandemic in June of 2020, and the all-time low of 47.7 in February of 2009 during the Great Recession. This level is lower than the 66.8 reported in February of 2022. While trusting relationships were most important to customers before the pandemic, this shifted to focus on product quality during the pandemic. We find that this priority holds as most important, but that low price has now emerged as a secondary priority given inflationary pressures. The pandemic has changed the use of channels. 65% of marketers are now using a larger number of channels, while 41% are using social channels to sell. Surprisingly, only 10.5% of marketers report their former face-to-face channels are now all digital, and half report that their companies are returning to or opening up face-to-face channels. The pandemic's acceleration of digital marketing investments has pushed marketing budgets as a percent of company budgets up to 13.8%, the highest level in CMO survey history. This level also corresponds to the growing importance of marketing in organizations, which has increased in more than half of all companies over the last 2.5 years. Marketing budgets as a percent of revenues revert to pre-pandemic levels, reflecting the 12.3% growth in revenues over the last year, from a 0.3% increase reported in February of 2021 at the height of the pandemic. Marketers report 10.4% growth in marketing spending over the last year, but predict this level will decrease and start trending toward the pre-COVID level of 5.8% growth in the next year. Brand, CRM, and innovation investments follow the same pattern, all growing but reverting to levels closer to pre-COVID levels. Traditional advertising spending returns to negative growth after temporary lifts across the last 2 surveys, restarting a decade-long decline. Mobile spending as a percent of marketing budgets is flat at 13.7% and has returned to pre-pandemic levels after climbing to a high of 23% during the pandemic. Spending on social media has also been flat at 14 to 15% of budgets over the last 18 months, coming off a June 2020 COVID splurge when spending reached 23.2% of marketing budgets. Both mobile and social continue to disappoint marketers in terms of their contribution to company performance, showing no improvement over time. Spending on marketing analytics as a percent of the marketing budget hit an all-time high of 8.9%, after a decade-long level of between 6 and 7%. Marketing analytics is now being used in nearly half of all marketing decisions, rising from 38% just before the pandemic. Companies have also made good progress in achieving contribution from marketing analytics to company performance during the pandemic. Marketers have invested in building their knowledge resources through the pandemic, nearly doubling investments in developing knowledge about how to do marketing and tripling investments in marketing research and intelligence. These investments have paid off, with the quality of all marketing knowledge resources rising during this period. As you might expect, marketing research changed quite a bit during the pandemic, with more companies studying online consumer behavior, about 63%, and using more video interviews, about 58%. Only 18% are doing more text analysis, which is somewhat surprising given its availability to most marketers. The size of marketing organizations grew by 15.1% in the last year, but this is expected to drop to 7.3% growth in the next year, reverting closer to growth rates reported before the pandemic. Work from home is now prevalent across industries and economic sectors, with 57.5% of marketers reporting their teams working from home at least some of the time, and 48.7% working from home all of the time. Overall, marketing leaders are confident in team productivity in both arrangements, with 50% reporting no change in worker productivity levels. Marketing leaders are more worried about company culture, with more than a third reporting that working from home has weakened it. In accord with this weakened culture, 45% of marketing leaders report that young marketers are socialized less within the company in a work-from-home setting. Marketing leaders were invited to attend board meetings at a rate of 4.9 on a 7-point scale, with 63% of marketers reporting participation levels above the midpoint of the scale. These numbers show that marketing has a reasonably strong seat at the table in many companies. The percentage of marketing leaders who report their companies would use their brands to take a stance on politically charged issues reached an all-time CMO survey high at 30.2% of companies, up from the pre-COVID level of 18.5%. However, when asked about actions to reduce the negative impact of marketing-related activities on the ecological environment, levels show increases from last year, but have not yet rebounded to pre-COVID levels, except in changes to the brand. 3 different reports summarize these 29th edition results. The top-line report shows aggregate-level results, while the firm and industry breakout report shows how results vary by 5 different company and industry characteristics, including sectors. The Highlights and Insight report shares key survey metrics and trends, as well as insights over time. I hope you find these metrics and insights useful as you navigate this post-COVID environment.